Unnecessary Details, the podcast that answers questions nobody asked and hands you fact you'll forget almost immediately. Settle in. It only gets stranger from here.
Ever notice how eggs always come in dozens? Not 10, not 11, but exactly 12. Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of why humanity is obsessed with grouping things by 12, how this number shaped ancient civilizations, and why it might actually be superior to our familiar base 10 system.
You know, it's amazing how deeply the number 12 is woven into human history. The Babylonians were using it as far back as 2000 BCE.
Wait, really? That far back?
Oh yeah, and here's something fascinating. They actually had this incredibly clever way of counting to 12 using just one hand.
With one hand? How's that possible?
Well, they used their thumb to count the knuckle bones on their 4 fingers. 3 knuckles per finger, 4 fingers, that's 12. And get this method is still used in parts of Asia today.
That's actually genius. No wonder it's still around.
And it gets better. The number 12 isn't just some random choice, it's mathematically superior to 10 in many ways.
Superior? How so?
12 is what mathematicians call a superior highly composite number. It's the smallest number with 4 non-trivial factors, 2, 3, 4, and 6.
Okay, but what makes that special?
Think about dividing things up. With 10, you can only divide evenly by 2 and 5, but with 12, you can divide evenly by 2, 3, 4, and 6. That's why it's so practical for trade and measurements.
Ah, that explains why we still use dozens for things like eggs and baked goods.
Speaking of baked goods, have you heard of the baker's dozen?
Yeah, that's 13 instead of 12, right?
Exactly. And there's actually a fascinating legal history behind that. In medieval England, bakers could face severe punishment for shorting customers.
So they threw in an extra one just to be safe?
Precisely. It was called a vantage loaf. Basically, medieval insurance against getting in trouble with the law.
But the dozen goes way beyond just commerce, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's deeply connected to how ancient civilizations understood the cosmos.
How so?
Well, they noticed there were roughly 12 lunar cycles in a solar year. This observation shows up in cultures worldwide.
Is that why we have 12 months?
Exactly. And it goes even deeper. The ancient Egyptians divided their day into 12 hours of light and 12 of darkness.
That's why we have 12-hour clocks.
Right. And in ancient religions, 12 became this incredibly significant number.
Like the 12 Olympic gods?
Exactly. And the 12 tribes of Israel, 12 disciples. It shows up everywhere in religious symbolism.
It's amazing how this pattern repeats across different cultures.
And it's still happening today. Did you know the European Union flag has 12 stars?
Really? Is that connected to this whole 12 thing?
Yes. They specifically chose 12 stars to represent perfection and completeness, the same symbolism that's been around for millennia.
That's fascinating. So we're still carrying on these ancient traditions.
And in some places, they never stopped. There are still languages today that use base 12 counting systems.
Really? Where?
In Nigeria's Middle Belt region, languages like Janji and Biriniragu still use duodecimal counting. The Chepang language in Nepal does too.
That's incredible. It's like a living connection to ancient mathematical thinking.
And you can see traces of it in English too. Notice how 11 and 12 have their own unique words?
Oh yeah. They don't follow the teen pattern like 13, 14, and so on.
Exactly. That's a linguistic fossil from when Germanic languages used duodecimal counting.
You know what's interesting? We keep trying to switch to base 10 for everything, but dozens just won't go away.
That's because it's just so practical. Think about how often you need to divide things into halves, thirds, or quarters.
And 12 handles all of those perfectly.
There are actually organizations today advocating for a return to duodecimal counting.
Wait, really?
Yes. The Dozenal Societies of America and Great Britain are still actively promoting base 12 mathematics.
I guess some people really take their dozens seriously.
Well, when you look at the math, they have a point. Base 12 might actually be the optimal number system.
Better than base 10? That's a bold claim.
The evidence is pretty compelling. In duodecimal, many fractions that create endless decimals have neat, finite representations.
Like what?
Well, 1/3 in decimal is 0, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, forever. But in duodecimal, it's just 0.4, clean and simple.
That would make calculations a lot easier.
Exactly. It's one of those cases where our ancestors might have been onto something we've partially lost.
So, what's the takeaway here? Should we all start counting by dozens?
Well, maybe not completely, but we can appreciate why it's stuck around for so long.
And why it shows up in so many different cultures.
Right. It's one of those rare cases where mathematics, astronomy, and human intuition all point to the same solution.
A solution that's been hiding in plain sight, in every carton of eggs.
And every clock face, calendar, and measurement system we use.
It really makes you think about how much ancient wisdom is built into our everyday lives.
Sometimes the old ways aren't just tradition, they're actually optimal solutions we're still discovering the math to prove.